Hey guys, welcome back to DeadHatz. Yeah, didn't expect me to post so soon, huh? Use those 4 month breaks. Yeah, no, I'm gonna try and not do that anymore, or at least not for 4 months, 3 months, whatever, how long it was since Macabre in my last video. Today we're gonna look at Morley Grove, which is actually this newish web. It's very new, so this is more like an early look. It's not gonna be. It can't be a full explanation if there's only a couple videos out. But I just wanted to get on this because I want to give it some light because this is some good shit right here. So I have been saying that there needs to be, we have analog horror, and there needs to be something focused around like early 2000s horror. And I'm so happy someone finally delivered, and from Remy Abode, nonetheless. Remy Abode, if you don't know who he is, he's the creator of Gemini Home Entertainment, which is one of the best analog horror series. I'm not going to make a video on it because Nexpo made a 2.5-hour video on it. If you want to know everything about that, check out that video. But no, he actually is making a mini-series called Morley Grove, set in early like YouTube 2000s era, and I'm so happy about that. But enough chit-chat, let's get into the actual videos themselves. So the first video is just titled Morley Grove, and it's a screen recording from Bandicam. If you don't know what that is, I'm gonna feel a little old, but basically Bandicam is just one of the like first popular screen recorders to record your screen. It's a Bandicam recording of someone's YouTube channel named Super Pilot Jordan, who's just uploading a video showcasing how kids who were disappearing in Morley Grove that went missing, pictures of them now are turning distorted and the kids are almost unrecognizable from what they previously looked like. And if that isn't creepy enough, afterwards it shows an audio recording of what is a Morley Grove specter. And this is basically super distorted audio that almost sounds like children and like babies crying. It's pretty creepy. Just give it a listen. But yeah, that's all it is for the first video. These videos are only like 1 to 2 minutes long, so it shouldn't be too much to unpack. Next is Birthday 2005. Now, this video I think is one of the best ones on the channel. It's my favorite. Basically, it starts with some old B-roll of just like a town. It's like a wooded town, area. And just kind of judging from what the channel is themed about, it's most likely that this is footage of Morley Grove, the city itself. Before we really get to see too much of that, it then cuts to an old like Windows Movie Maker slideshow of Dustin's birthday from 2005. However, there are kids with their faces blurred out. It's kind of implied that all the pictures are of Dustin, but since the clothes changes in some shots, I like to think that, maybe some of the other kids at the party also went missing, and that they probably have to be related to the disappearing kids from the first video, seeing as their faces are all completely messed up. But I don't know if the creator was trying to imply that all the pictures are of Dustin, or there's pictures of Dustin and some other kids who also went missing. The next video is called Morley Missing. Now this one actually gives us a lot of lore. First, it starts off with a YouTube argument between Super Pilot Jordan, which, if you notice, is also the guy who uploaded the first video, and also most likely the guy that uploaded the Dustin 2005 video, seeing as we hear the same music in the background from that video playing over the comments. This is likely the comments section of the Birthday 2005 Dustin's birthday video. But basically, in the comments, we see an argument between Super Pilot Jordan and a guy named Mr. Grinds, where Mr. Grinds is playing the skeptic and Super Pilot Jordan is insisting that this is 100% real. And if you watched my last video, you would absolutely know that YouTube at this time was chock full of these fake hoax ghost sighting videos, which means at the era Super Pilot Jordan was uploading and trying to prove that there's weird shit going on, obviously there's going to be a lot of skeptic, just kind of because of what people were already used to on YouTube at that time. However, whoever's recording this conversation on the Bandicam clicks a link to go to some kind of Morley Grove disappearances like archive website. I believe that it's probably run by Super Pilot Jordan. That's just a little head theory of mine. Just because the fact that he was able to go straight from the YouTube comments section, like from Super Pilot's channel to that website, I think kind of implies that, you know, he put a link in his description. And who else would be archiving all the Morley disappearances than the guy who's trying to prove it with his YouTube? But after we look at the site, we can see that there's many kids missing, all gone in the year 1969. Kodar, which is another commenter, notices that all the photos in the Dustin 2005 video are way older than 2005, which would make sense because all the kids went missing in 1969, meaning that that's when the main disappearances probably happened. But in this, we see a list of kids, and all of them with their faces distorted. This would be Anna Loebs, Nathan Giles, Judy Moore, and finally Dustin Ford. Now that's all it shows in the video. We can actually see that if you kept scrolling down, there would be more kids missing, but whoever's recording didn't do that. It seems Dustin might be an important kid somehow, but we won't know for now because the web series is very early starting on. After that, he then scrolls down and shows people's accounts of, you know, just some stuff they saw going on with the kids disappearing. And one of them is interesting because it refers to the kidnapper as the Morley Man, which makes it almost seem like he's not even like human. And then another account saying that the Morley Man is at least 20 feet tall. So we know that this isn't likely done by a human. It's some supernatural being, monster, alien, whatever that's taking these kids. But the account that most interests me is the very last one. You see, it tells about two kids who are sitting apart from another, and the one facing the window was actually taken instead of the one with his back facing the window. Now you'd think as a kidnapper, well, not saying I'm a kidnapper, but just put yourself in their shoes for a second, that it would be much easier to reach in and grab the kid facing away from the window. He wouldn't see it coming, plus he's closer. But it's odd that the kid looking towards the window sitting further away is the one that got taken. It's almost as if maybe he spotted the Morley Man, and because of that he took him, but then it also counts that he went missing right there, and the kid with his back facing the window didn't get taken. I mean, how would he not notice, like, you know, his friend being taken? That's pretty sus. But enough on that. Let's move on to the next video. This next video is going to be Morley Drive, and this one starts off with a 911 police call between a dispatcher and a child. The child is complaining that someone's at his window, and they ask him to get a look at him basically, and he says, "I can't look at him or he'll take me," which further proves the fact that with the last account, if you see the Morley Man, that's when he takes you, if you just look at his face. Only if you're a child though, because if you look back at the accounts, a lot of the adults were able to get a look at him, but instead of being taken, they felt like a part of their soul had been. But one thing of note is in the audio call, listen to this.
911. Okay, they're there right now. Do you know who they are? Okay, are you safe right now?
Now, the kid's voice is all distorted, but doesn't that sound a little familiar to the Morley Grove specters? It's very similar. It seems that the Morley Grove specters are like the remnants of the kids that were taken. And whenever a kid is taken, it seems like any kind of documentation, whether it be a photo or audio of them, is distorted or like corrupted beyond recognition. The only thing you're able to tell is the cries of their voice, or that they're a kid because, you know, it's a kid's body even though you can't see the face. Now, in response, the dispatcher sends a policeman to the house of where the call was made. However, upon arrival, the man states there are no children in the house, which would seem really weird, except if you look at the dash cam of the police car, this is happening in 2010, the phone call. However, we know all the missing kids went away in 1969. So it's very likely that a new family moved in, one that doesn't have kids, moved into this house. And so it would make sense that they wouldn't have children there because it's years later. But that doesn't answer the question of how is the call made in the first place if there's no children there. I think that's just something that's so cool and such a cool concept. And it really makes you look at the dates and times. It's so neat. And then we also get an aerial shot of the man's house, and we see it is surrounded by woods. And a lot of the shots in this series seem to show woods, so we know it's kind of like a forest town. You know, just lots of like dense woods surrounding there, whatever city or town this is. And finally, we have the last video, the Morley Ghost. Now, this is basically a recording that almost, oh my gosh, fits perfectly in with any kind of ghost sighting video that would come out at around this 2005 to 2010 era. Once again, if you saw my last video, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So many of these fake ghost videos were uploaded, and they're so similar to this one that we see that, of course, anyone who sees it would think it's fake, because that's what they're used to. Because we know the context of the rest of the series, we know in this universe it's not fake, this is real, but just the fact there's so many doubters from around the world because it blends in with the rest of the YouTube culture at the time. And I think another genius thing about this video is it uses YouTube's rendering against you. If you've ever noticed, YouTube kind of renders things in like a blocky fashion. You'll see like pixels changing color, and that's made to divert you away from the shit that's actually going on in the video. Now, the video starts off with some reverse audio. I reversed it back and it sounds pretty familiar. Give it a listen.
Okay, they're there right now.
Now, why it's the dispatcher and not like the child's voice that's from the video that's messed up, I'm not 100% sure. Will it be important? We'll have to see, because this is the latest video. It was literally uploaded like yesterday, I think, or 2 days before this, because I'm recording this the day after, but I mean, by the time I finish editing, it might be 2 to 3 days after. And basically after that, we kind of get the sense that there's some movement in the dark background. This is proven by a cat. I know he's adorable, that walks on screen and kind of looks into the darkness. So we know that this is kind of excellent use of the animal, because it shows that, like, okay, we're not going crazy. We're not seeing nothing there, because the cat sees it too. And then the camera kind of zooms in, and you can really see like this black shadow kind of moving across the white background, which further sells and proves the point that there is some creepy shit going on back there. It is super hard to tell, and like I said, the YouTube rendering works against you in trying to see it in this video, and it really makes you feel like one of those superstitious people looking for something that's not there and saying, "Look, there it is." I'm sorry, I'm getting off on a tangent. But then at one point, the video gets and the audio gets distorted as we see the room get darker, and the room in the back goes from slightly visible to not visible at all. It's almost pitch black in there, along with this deep, heavy sound, which is, you know, a sign of video and audio like distortion happening. And then it lights back up, and there's no movement back there. It seems like everything is fine until suddenly we hear it almost sounds like help in a child's voice, and then, well, just give it a watch. As you can see, something like just ran towards the camera and ran into it, but we didn't see what. And the fact that you can tell the camera moves back signifies that it's not just the cat behind the camera running into it, something forward in front of the camera hit it. Because the camera moves a little bit to the right, but also a little bit to the back. I'll replay it probably somewhere right here so you can kind of see it really does move back. And so that kind of tells me that like a ghost, which is Morley's ghost, run towards the camera, bumps into it, hitting it backwards. And just the footsteps heading towards the camera. It's so scary. It's so well made. This is maybe one of the Morley specters. A clue given in the first couple seconds of the video where we can kind of hear similar audio to a Morley specter. But yeah, just something that's really interesting and cool. But let's take all this information we have and kind of put it together into a cohesive story or idea of what's going on. So, From what we know, the Morley man was taking children in 1969. And in 2005, 2007, I think is when he was uploading. We know Super Pilot Jordan seems to be very invested in the story of what's going on in Morley Grove. We know this because he's trying to upload proof to prove his point that some weird shit is going on there. But sadly, because of the many internet skeptics at the time, he's not getting many people who believe it. And then we know that these kids are turning into Morley specters because any pictures or audio of them is distorted and messed up, which means that something supernatural is taking these children and basically just leaving behind specters or remnants of them that are almost trying to reach us in our world now, or at least back in 2010, because 40 years later, Mr. Dune got a phone call to the police from a child despite not having any children. So we know that they're still there in Morley Grove. But the thing is, what exactly is this weird kidnapper? What is this Morley man? Well, seeing as this series delves back onto older horror from early 2000s era, I believe the Morley man has a lot of similarities to another similar creature that we know about and is very popular today. Some of you might know where I'm heading to this, but let me just lay down all the stuff we know about the Morley man. First off, we know he loves targeting children. Keep that in the back of your mind as what likes taking kids. And then another one is we know it's 20 feet tall, whatever this Morley man is. 20 feet tall, likes taking children, and has the ability to distort audio and video. Some of you might know where I'm heading with this theory, and I just want to say I do have evidence to back this up, and I'll show you in just a second. Of course, many of you have noticed I'm kind of alluding to Slender Man, which would make sense, because this was back in that day and age when stuff like that was really growing in popularity. And of course, this takes place almost, I believe, before Slender Man was coined, so of course they wouldn't call him Slender Man, they would call him the Morley, because they wouldn't know what it is. Now, I know some of you are probably rolling your eyes, shaking your heads, thinking like, DeadHatz, you're crazy. It's a completely new monster made up just for this series. Why does everything have to point back to Slender Man? Well, we do have a little bit of evidence here that points otherwise. And this would be in the first two videos. First, let's look at Dustin's birthday, 2005. In this video, we can see it's showing many photos of Dustin's birthday and his face is distorted. However, we do see one clip very shortly before it cuts away back to the title card, or I guess you could say ending card. In this image, we see Dustin by a swing set with his face distorted. However, if you look in the back, you can see two trees right next to each other. However, one of them is not like the other. One of them has the same distorted blur effect as Dustin has on his face, meaning that might not be a tree there. It could be a tall black figure, but wears a black suit, Slender Man. I know that's kind of reaching, but I think this point right here really sells it. If you go back to the first video, Morley Grove, you can actually see it does the same thing where it shows something for like half a frame and cuts. And in this, it's shortly after showing the distorted kid's face, it's a zoom in on the woods. And in the woods, you can see the silhouette of a tall figure and with a very long neck. And it's completely black because it's in the shadows, but what you can make out is white in this region, similar to a suit, which I think is more proof that it's Slender Man in this series. Now, it might not. Like I said, this series is still very early on, but I'm definitely seeing some similarities here. Now, of course, if you're still doubting me, I have some meta knowledge. Almost a lot of comments, at least, that say, oh, this is such an interesting take on a Slender Man series, Slender Man this. The creator does like those comments over some other theories, which is basically confirmation that it's a Slender Man series. But like I said, it could change at any time. Maybe he's just liking that because he likes the theories. I know I like shit when people come up with theories on my web series. Even if it's not true, I think it's interesting to read. I think that might be a little meta nod that it is Slender Man in this series, which is cool because it fits in with the time period and all that. So, run it back from the beginning. Morley Man or Slender Man is taking the kids in Morley Grove and they're becoming distorted specters. And because of the way he works, no one can really see or like remember him when they see him, or those that do see him feel completely drained and are terrified. This conspiracy theorist or superstitious guy, Super Pilot Jordan, knows about the fishy things going on with these disappearances and is trying to show it to more people, only to be surrounded by doubters. And that's all we really have for this series so far. Like I said, it's a really early look. This series is brand new, it's only like 4 months old, but I just had to get a video out there because I was so happy that someone finally created an early 2000s horror-based web series, and I couldn't be happier that it's done by Remy Abode. Remy Abode, he made Gemini Home Entertainment, which if you guys don't know, where have you been? So I know that the series is also in good hands because this guy is a master at his craft. And I'm telling you right now to go to his channel. I will link in the description and subscribe to him because this is some top tier, like chef's kiss level content that's being made over there, and you'd be missing out a lot if you didn't get a look at it. But yeah, that's pretty much it for a look into Morley Grove. If you like the video, and subscribe to me. You know, I talk about cool stuff like this. I might come out with an unrelated video every now and then, but I like focusing on these horror genres. It's pretty cool. And shout out to Remy Abode making this excellent stuff. Dude's 19 and making some of this crazy shit that I would really dream of creating. Thank you for watching, and if you like this early 2000s style horror, check out my last video I did, and I'm basically looking at history of YouTube horror. Last video was about 2005 to 2010. I'm going to move up in increments of 5 years and kind of compare what horror was on YouTube back then to how it is now and how it evolved over time, and then ranking them for fun. But yeah, if you really like this video, shout out to Midi's Drawings for creating one of the first DeadHatz fan art that I didn't have to ask for. No offense to Faith, she drew this image, which is really nice, but we talked about it beforehand. Mini Draws just came out of nowhere, just like, hey, I was watching one of your videos and drew this, so shout out to her. That's pretty much it. I'm DeadHatz, and I guess I'll see you guys another day.